project, we want to be in a dimension something like this, 50 by 50 by 8. That's going to be our checker size. All right? Got a question in here already. Well, then don't worry about Jaden right now. We're just going to go ahead and get it. I'm not sure my Mac's running it. I'm not sure why. We're not even going to worry about it, okay? All we're going to try to do right now is use, which I know TinkerCad will run, we're going to work on getting our checkers done. Now, you don't necessarily have to print out a checker, but a checker is about the only thing, one of the things we're going to try to duplicate, okay? And we're going to print them out, and if time permits, allow you to do some casts and molds. If time permits, you got a lot of stuff we've got to do between now and then, okay? Now, remember, we're trying to get to about this size. I'll show you what this plate at the bottom does at the end here. This helps us when we cast and mold them. But if you don't want to do checkers, and that's fine, we can print something else out. It can have dimensions from 80 to 10 millimeters if you want. That's your call on that if you'd like. We will, but we won't be able to make lots and lots of copies of them. So here's, different checker sizes. And we took this checker, then we put the Batman logo on top of it, and then we grouped them, we centered it using the center, and you end up with this, Batman, and you got a Superman checker set, all right? So, again, 50 by 50 by 10 when you're sitting here making a checker, okay? So you can get started. I'm going to go ahead right now and show you some of the things I've been working on and some traps. Here I decided to make checkers. This time ducks, a pointer versus a duck for those people that like duck hunting in your family, right? And that was my fourth version of this. What I'll do is you would start as new on something, and it'll have some silly name. Go into design, give it a proper name. Like mine's duck dog, if you saw that, because duck versus dog. I know what that means. Okay? Everyone start out, think about what you would like to make your checkers out of or what you might like to design, and then name it like that. Okay? Then, all right, let me know once you have that. And you might change your name. But what I want you to see is every time you make a big difference, like you can see mine in a minute here, you're going to see that when I go to make a bunch of differences, I'm going to duplicate it. It'll take it a second. It's waiting for TinkerCad. And when it says copy of duck, I'm going to go down to designer. I'm going to go to properties, and I'm going to say duck versus dog 5. Because I don't want to lose my last work. I'm going to show you all of them I've worked on. So if I go into TinkerCad, here are my designs. Now I just made Smashing Hango. But you can see I started off very basic. Then I started playing with that a little bit more. Then I came up with this third design. And now this fourth design. Now I'm going to go to fifth. I'm going to tinker it. And come up with some different ideas, like, can we line this up and start taking out the corners of this? How would that look? Let's undo that, because that didn't go too well. All right, let's see how I can center that up. I'll make this 10 so I can see it a little bit better. So I might do something like this, or I'm going to put this right on the point. Try to anyways. And if you do that, then if you make this a hole, watch what happens. Go up here, make it a hole, then group it, and then group. So now I've got this hole in there. And I made the hole too deep because it went right clearly through the checker. We don't want that. And that was a way of maybe putting a keychain into this. Okay, so I'm not that crazy about it. So I'll move it back. These hex shapes are kind of cool, but the problem is they can become difficult to come out of a form. Here's a more classic shape. Use the hex shape in there. It'll be a little bit tough coming out of the mold in these spots right here on a hex shape. They don't allow us to. What I really would wish they had was what they have in SketchUp, where you can go and determine how many sides. And there's the cylinder. You've got your cylinder. You've got your hexagon prism. And I'm not aware of, if somebody knows. What are the dimensions do we need to be decided for our prints? For these checkers, 50 by 50 by 10. 50 by 50 by 10. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with going with a gallery to get some inspirations. It can be superheroes. It can be sports. It can be any kind of deal you want. I'm going to go over here in gallery. Sometimes I just like going through the galleries to see what other people are doing. Here's some more YO checkers. Someone has, that's cool. Riley just did that one. See that? He's got an Apple and Android. That's very clever. Okay. You want to do something in Minecraft? Go ahead. I think it's important, though, you name it something that we know what it's going to be. All right. And you can also you can find things, newest things. There's a creeper. You can put that on a checker if you wanted to. All right. And if you go up here, you can go and type and look. So we can type checker, but what you're going to see, Chinese checker. They've gone that route, checker with an H. Standing checker, notice I did a flat with a ring like this. And those stack pretty well. Athletic checkers. See, with the little A's. And you can do copy. Some of these do allow you to, if you want to copy and tinker, you just go over like this. Now, if all you're going to do is copy and tinker their ideas, though, I'm going to question why you don't bother. All right? So that's a copy of this stacking checker thing. Now, you can do this. Go Control Copy it. Then I'm going to go back. Go to my Dog versus Designs. Hit Tinker this. Hit Control V. Hopefully I'll copy it pretty shortly. There it is. I'm not sure the way he did this was all like. So here's a checker. Can be a little bit bigger than this. So what I would do is pull it out. All right. Now, how did he do that? Well, I think it would be something like this. I'll walk you through this. These actually checkers will end up being smaller than this, but I've got them all 50 millimeters and I'll make them up. All right, let me back them up here. Oh man, edit, undo. Every once in a while I mess up, like this one needs to be grouped. Now I can move it. I don't have to worry about that. All right. Probably I need to give this guy credit. I'll go back and figure out whose it is and give him credit. Let me see if I'm... All right, the way to make that checker right here, folks, for people... All right, how many people at least have an idea what they want to make? What are we making? Jaden, we are simply working on our checkers for class. Okay? That's all we're trying to do. We're working on checkers for class. Cooper, what's going on?
I would like to make some sort of Minecraft, kind of checkers.
We'll start drawing on a piece of paper, start thinking about it, and I'm giving some different checker type designs and put them in there. It can range from everything from the letters for M or trying to get a creeper and bringing it in. Now let me show you how you go to find images to import in. I'll show you that right now, okay? Let me show you how to do this checker, and I'll show you how to do SVG, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so here, real quick, I'll show you how to do a checker like this. I would go over here, take a cylinder. All right, we're going to make this 50 by 50. Make sure you have the ruler down here, folks. If you go up here to Helper, select ruler. This will allow you to do that. Because with that ruler function, I can type 50 here, 50 here, and I'm going to get it to scale. All right, then I'm going to look at his. His is about 8.7, and it went up a little bit to 10 kind of thing. So what we're going to do is we'll make this down to 10 right now. I'm not really worried about making it identical, quite that identical is 50 by 50. Ours is 50 by 50. Right over here is 50, so you can see the number. So what does he do? Well, his is a little more shallow, so we can make this 8 or 7. All right, so that's shallow. Then he took another ring like this. I'm going to go ahead and pull one over here. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to change the color on that. Go up to color, and I'll make it that color. Lord, that looks a little bit rough, but we're going to go ahead and do it. And we're going to make this, I don't know, 35. Then I'll take that. I've got to lift it up. So I'm going to run my keyboard like this. Then I'm going to pull this up. Then I'm going to push it over top of that. And probably the first few times it'll take me a little bit of time to line it up. And then I'm going to go push it down until it starts to go into there a little bit. Now his is a little bit wider than this one is. But I will line all of them up by using, again, we did this adjust tool, align. Just put it right there. You can see it moves a little bit, and then in this direction. So now it's centered. We're still got to move this down a little bit. I'm going to make this a little bit taller. The reason I'm going to do this is I'm making it a little bit higher so that way I can shove it in there. Right? And his is ridged. I'm guessing I should have used a might have used a different. There's a tube. Bear with me a second here. Tube thick, torus thin. You know. I'm going to put a parabola in the bottom of this. Hit shift. And undo. I'm going to do it by scale. So I'm going to put right there and hit shift. Lift the whole thing up. A little bit more. Make that a little bit wider. All right, and then again, I'm going to take just those things, just a line. That gets it that way, and that way. And I might even push it down a little bit more now. There you go. So there's another checker. So that's a design with a checker. And you might think you're putting your logo inside that. As far as doing something a little more complicated, all right, here's what we do next. We're going to go out, and I'm going to go into Google. Remember how we talked a little bit about this before? I'm going to search an image. So I'm going to say I did a horse. Let me see what else could be. Dog versus cat. That sounds like a good one. So let's do, well, we just did a dog. So we'll do a cat just to do it. So maybe you want a dog versus cat checker set. Okay. So we have cat image. All right. Now, if you go over here on top of your Google search, you can go advanced searches. And we're going to go right there now. We're going to do cat image, but now we're going to check file type. We're going to make it okay. That's not really what I had in mind here. Why am I getting not the one I want? Maybe okay, let me go ahead and change this. All right. So let me go here. File type, what am I getting? PostScript. Let's try this cat. Go under images, excuse me. That's what I should have done. Go under cat, images. Now let's do advanced search. Oh, no, we had to say specify images. And then we do SVG files. So we can bring those in on our cat. Since the other one, the dog, is kind of profile shot, we got to figure out what we want to do. Which one is this? To me looks like a cat. All right. Now I'm going to save as. Again, you would not be selling any of these, and you know. All right, white cat outline. I'm going to hit save there. Now I'm going to go into TinkerCad. I'll make these checkers public so you can start playing with them as well. Okay. All right. What have we got? A question? Will it print in color? No, it just prints in whatever plastic I'm running. So you can't really specify colors. Sorry, guys. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up to import. Sometimes it gets hidden away with these other things, the helper, geometric. So close everything, and you should find import. Going to hit a file. So I'm going to choose a file to pick. White cat outline. It's got to be .svg fail. That's an Inkscape file. It's a vector graphic. It cannot be a raster, a bitmap, photograph kind of thing. Then we're going to do an import. Now it's at 100% scale, so that's full size. That might be too big. Let's see. See how big that is? That's a bit of a problem. That's okay. That's not going to work for us, right? So we're going to hit delete on that. I'm going to go ahead and import it at 10% that size. Let's see what we get. There we go. That's a more manageable size. It absolutely is. Okay. And so what we do here, shift our scale a little bit. Again, we're going to go I'm going to go a little bit, I'm going to get to below 40. You see that would still be really kind of big for these. And the thickness is all wrong too. But because I have the ruler out, I can just specify it here. So there's 2 millimeters. That fits more in line. Shift again. I'm going to make it smaller. Let's make it right down to 25. Close enough. All right, now we've got a cat here. And that's where you can start adding these different ideas to it. You know? So just get an SVG format of what you want to do. Yes, Aiden. And you can play with this, and if you decide you really don't care about checkers, we can print anything you want. All right? But what's your question, Aiden?
I think I just had my hand raised for my idea.
What's your idea?
Pirates versus ninjas.
Very nice. Have you been able to find 2 SVG graphics for it? You could also draw it on Inkscape if you wanted to. What's that?
I found one.
Good. So start working on your checker shapes with it, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to take this cat. I might do a combination of this one right here then. Control copy, Control B. There it is. Pull it out over here. This one not grouped. Well, I got to group it. That's what I should have done. Well, and delete that. Control copy, Control V. Now it'll come back over to me. Now I'm going to take this. I'll ungroup it. And wrap our black cat in there. Let's get rid of this thing. Let's take our cat. The upside cat. Drag it over here. I have to make her cat a little bit smaller to fit in that little ring there. Let's make the cat black. And they have to line up properly. Take it, group that whole thing, go to adjust, align. Don't group it, excuse me, so group select. That moves it that way, so that gets it left or right centered, and this is going to get it up or down. Boy, it doesn't like that, does it? Apparently not. Here's part of the problem. Let's lower it. So easy to think you've got the right thing. And you really don't. Just remember, it takes patience, guys and gals. So that might be a cat checker. I'm not sure how much that looks like a cat, but there it is. Let's line that all up. Go to the line again. Go right here. You'll see it kind of move things a little bit there. Move it here. There you go. There's your cat checker. And if we can, I'm going to go over here to shapes. See if I can remove this shape. That's ungrouped, so what's fair? Alright, so the cat, oh, let's do this. Let's go ahead and group this right now before I do anything dumb with that. Group that. Okay, see now you don't want to group it and have it all be black, that's for sure. So go up to the color, kind of purple right there. We're going to take that, play with it here. Any more questions? Let's go over and look. So you're seeing all kinds of ways. What are the dimensions? 50 by 50 by 10. Jaden, the way to get it in right, look at this, Jaden, is I'm going to ungroup this. They can't be grouped. I mean, they can't be grouped, but they can be all selected. Then go up to adjust, align, and see that little thing right down there? That aligns in this direction, and then we'll do it in this direction. Now I'm going to go ahead and group this. Change my color back to a color that we can deal with. I'll make a control copy, control V. So I'm going to do with this one. Ungroup that. What's that? Try doing what I just said on that. All right, now I'm going to go get something different here. So I'm going to see how this will look. I'm going to see if this does what I think it'll do. I think they'll help line things up. It really helps to be up a little bit. Is to move your stuff in all three directions. Use your mouse, move around, go, okay, that's not right. Is that right? That looks okay this way. All right, now I'm back on this. We'll line it up once we get a little bit closer. See how that's just off? But the only way I can see that is by coming up here from the side. Whoops. When that happens, do hit edit undo. I'm going to try to press this down. This will be a little more rounded than the other one was. And then I'm going to hit shift on the little dot. I'm going to make the blue one get scale a little bit bigger. A bit thicker. Alright, now I'm going to group those. Watch this. How do you save it as? You don't save it as the SVG. You go out and search for it. Let me show you that right now. Watch me align this one up. Adjust. Align. That centered it that way. Now let's center it up here. Wait a minute. I didn't. Let's try that again. Adjust. Align. There we go. Now, this got a little rounder. See how that's more of an edgier shape? You can do this one. Let's group this. Change my color so it's a different grouping so I know different colors I'm doing it. And boom. So these are all just things I'm playing with of different kinds of checkers we're going to do. Once we're happy with our checker, we're going to add one more thing on it to make multiple checkers. So I have cats versus dogs. I have ducks for hunters. I do like some of these. I'm not going to import any SVG images in the TinkerCad. That makes me think you've got an issue there. All right. And John, if you come in at 7:03, we can't get you up to speed as much as we would like. I'm just telling you we're working on our TinkerCad projects right now. Whenever I try to align it, it says it's already aligned. Have you selected? You haven't grouped it, I hope. Make sure it's ungrouped and then select all the points and then try to align it. Okay. I'm going to show you this. But coming in here, it's really important to try to get here on time whenever you can, okay? So here's what you're going to do to import an image. All right, I'm going to go out to Google for right now. We're not going to worry about taking a bitmap and converting it. We'll do that next. Okay, so for example, if I go into images, I can search anything. So I'm going to select, let me see here. We have had Batman versus Superman. We've had dogs versus ducks, hunting kind of thing. Then dogs versus cats, just a pet thing. We have tortoise versus the rabbit. So I'm going to say image, tortoise, tortoise. I'm going to search. Now there it is, right? It says tortoises. I get a bunch of hard-shelled tortoises. Then I'm going to go up here to advanced search. Select that. Then I'm going to file type. This is where I'm going to select SVJ. There we go. Hit advanced search. I should get a nice black and white tortoise. Guys, avoid a lot of detail at this point or you're going to have to go through and fix every line of that. And these are turtles, they're not even tortoises. So like a good one I think could be, you know, it's always a trade-off. You want something that looks as tortoise as possible here. And these are all and I generally like black and white over this. Not absolutely never necessary. Like that one, I'm not so crazy about that. That one has possibilities. You know, you can draw your own thing on Inkscape and get it. So let me see if I can find a lot of tortoise shells. That doesn't make me feel. And then you just got to wonder how in the world they ever consider that a tortoise. But, you know, well, I guess tortoise are in the rabbit race. And that's what I'm kind of going a little bit with this whole idea. So I'm looking around. There's reasons why I'm concerned if I do that one. Okay, let's see here. I'm not really, oh, I did not want to do that. All right, let's see if we can find some more here. How in the world you end up with that? I don't see how in that in the world it is. Let's see, since people don't really know the difference, let's see what kind of turtle we have here. Still not finding one I'm like. So we're going to do turtle. All right, and then we're going to look for, like this could possibly be your deal. And like I say, you can go into Inkscape and that will save things as an SVG. I'm not having much luck here. I don't like any of these. Let's try this one. There's your hair. That's kind of a cool thing you could do with your rabbit. I mean, with the dog, you can make that one of your two checkers. Kind of like that rabbit right there. Let me think what else. I'm trying to find out things that are kind of black and white. You know, I saw someone who had Apple and Android just a minute ago. That was pretty cool. Let me think. Opposites. Gotta be worried about some logos because you don't want to sell stuff and rip it off. Frankly, folks, you get into trouble there. But if you're making it for yourself, for the most part, I have found no one complains. You know, I think if you started selling your checker sets, there would be. But if you want to be a fan, so like right now, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say OSU football. And then what I'm going to do is make sure that they're all SVG files. Because I'm an OSU football fan. And they are. So I'm good. I'll just hit search. And then I might try to make something. I want the simpler the better. And I don't have a lot of good SVG here. That is not going to do well on this. So let's try this. Okay, Buckeye. That's the map. That's what Ohio State has. Okay, well, see that Penn State one might work better here. I'm gonna see how this one does. So I'll save image as Ohio State Buckeye logo, SVG. Save that to download. Go to TinkerCad. I'm going to do choose file up here. If you go under import, we can get into some of these. There's shape generators, TinkerCad. Yeah, let me see if I can get it. Let's go up here. Helpers. Geometric. Import. Find that menu, close everything, go to import, okay? Alright, so here we go to import. Choose a file. I'm going to download. I'm going to take that. Again, you cannot take this and then start making something and selling it. I think your university will be very upset with you. But if you're making something because you're a fan, for the most part, people have been pretty cool. So I'm gonna go with 10%. I'm gonna go with 100% and see how big this is to begin with. So that's huge. That's gonna be a problem. See, it takes over the whole screen. So I'm gonna immediately come back and redo this one. I'm gonna delete it. It didn't even come out very good. Let's try 10% and see what it looks like. I'm not sure it's even still gonna work. See, all I've got is the little Ohio State logo. Like this part, I'd have to fill it in. So that is not looking great. See, right there it is. So, again, a little bit careful about what you're picking. Let me pull this out of the way. When I go to advanced search, select SVG, all my pictures. Not all of my, sometimes they're not. You're just going to have to pick. Sometimes people mislabel them. Ridiculous as it is, but they do. All right. So let me do. Let's do Mickey. Mickey and Minnie. Let's see what we have there, right? So we just did that one, Ohio State, and it didn't do so well. I did the duck and cat before, but I'm going to go ahead and do Mickey. Hang on one second. We'll see how well this works. And again, if you can draw it, my gosh, just go into Inkscape and draw it, Mickey. All right. Okay, so you could just do, honestly, Mickey ears, and you could freehand that. All right. There's a skeleton Mickey. That's kind of, I don't know about that. All right, so I'm going to select this one. View image. Save image as silhouette. So we've got that. So let's go back into TinkerCAD. This should be a pretty straightforward one here. Where's my TinkerCAD? There we go. If you draw it in Inkscape and just save it as SVG, you'll probably be fine. All right, I'm going to open. And we're going to import. I'm going to take 10% because there we go. I'm at about 10% there, and that's still a little bit big. I'm going to go ahead and hit Shift, make it smaller. I can change the color back in a minute to 50 to black. I'm going to make that 25, make the color black since that's what we just had with Mickey. All right? So there's a Mickey Mouse head. And so you just got to figure out what kind of base. You could put them on a Q base. We could raise it. We could bring the ring on the outside like we've done these. And then, you know, you got to decide who's going to be the opposite of Mickey. I don't know. But, or you can just all make them Mickey checkers and make them different colors. All right. So say I wanted this. Now I've got this to play with. Pull that checker over here. I can also take one of my checkers I just did. I did this one. Kind of like the layout of this checker. Whoops. And then what I'm going to do is group that. I don't want that. And then I'm going to make a copy of this. Control copy, hit Control V. Control copy, excuse me, Control V. There it is. I might have made two. All right, let's get rid of an extra one there. All right. Now I'm going to ungroup it. Get rid of the cat. Bring Mickey in here. I'm going to use Mickey as a different color this time, but again, I'm going to mark them, kind of line them up. But until I get right here, I still don't have them right. Now I'm going to bring them, oh, see, I pushed them that way. Grab them by that black and bring them down. Still got to go over here. See those little black lines? They'll help me. See those little outline edge lines? They'll help me get where I need to be. And then I'm going to start going to. But even then, see, it's hard to do. Okay, so I'm going to bring it over here a little bit more. I'm going to lift him up actually because guess what? He's too big yet. Hit Shift. Okay. That could be a little bit bigger than that. Alright. Well, not too much bigger to be honest. Alright, let's grab him, push him down into that. You want him into it. You don't just lay things on top because it won't print well. You want it partially submerged. So this object's partially submerged. Now, well, here's how I go to align that for people who couldn't see how to align it. Adjust, align. There you go. Align there. There we go. So now I have a Mickey Mouse checker. And honestly, I think we all could, you know, that's not a hard thing to make. We could have made that in TinkerCAD, that checker. I'm going to change the color of the checker just because. I'm going to group this, select the whole thing. I hit color up here. I'm going to make it a little more red. Too red is a little bit much. Group it. But there it is. So you don't see the details when it's that bright. You got to stay. Let's mute it out a little bit. There we go. Let's, you know. All right, questions. What do we got here? I made a stackable checker. Good job, Caden. More design, the better it is. It'll look nicer and nicer the more time you put into it. Every one of these two, we'll put a plate on them, and I'll give you the size of the plates at the end. That'll help us if we go to make molds of these. I cannot find the skull and crossbones vector image. Well, Aiden, keep looking. And if not, when we come in Wednesday, I'll show you how to use Inkscape and take a bitmap image and do it. Or you can try going into Inkscape and drawing it and making your own. Let me see if I can help you find one though. Here, let's go ahead. Oh, let me see here. Let's do this. That was my duck I found originally. So let's do skull. Usually. There's one right there. Do you see that? Aiden, let me see if it's an SVG. Maybe it's not, but let's go here. Oh, that's that's PNG. So let's go up here. It says SVG files. Let's go to SVG files. See, some people do this and then they just don't think and they don't stamp them everywhere. See, I do save image as. I want to see what it is. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go to this image first. Sometimes, hang on a second. If you go to that image, let's view image. Yeah, there it is, SVG. There it is. When you go, there's SVG. You have to go to that image. When you're looking at it here, you're looking at a JPEG image. If you'll go to view image, all right, there's a skull. Let's see if we can find a skeleton that way. Let's see if that's the case. Let's view image. Let's see if that's it. We'll go there. Save as. Yeah, that's skull and crossbones. Here we go. So that's a skull and crossbones versus, I don't know what we're going to do here. I'm not sure what. But you can make skull and crossbone checker set. Oh. So let me go back over to TinkerCAD. I'm going to do a new one. New. Go to design, properties, pirate, checkers. Save. And I might only make one of these, but I'll make, all right, so here we go. Now I'm going to go in here under File, choose a file, skull and crossbones, open. There. Pirate checkers. All right, now we're going to import. I'm going to make it 10% because most of the time when you import them, they're too big. So do it 10%. There it is. And even then, so there it is. It's kind of messed up. You might bring it into another thing. See, sometimes they just don't import well. That one doesn't. Now, can we look at it a little bit more and see if we can do some things to fix it up? Let me go do this. First of all, get my ruler out because I can't get my dimension set on this. There we go. Let's make that 4. Looks like he's almost broken. All right, so that image didn't work as well as I wanted. Or you go into Inkscape. All right, there's the dog I had before. So when you go into here, let's go File, New. Then we do File, Open. Under Downloads, let's see. Skull and Crossbones, Open. There it is in Inkscape. You know, so you could theoretically play with it there. All right. I didn't do as well as I would like. So we'll go back out and search, try out some more ones. The thing is, you have to do something. If you turn this in for school or for my class, you just can't go out and get someone else's check or drop it in. You could, but you're not getting anything out of the class, I should say. Yeah, I would like to. We're going to try. You guys got so much to do yet. We're going to try to fit that in. Make molds. I've got to wait for the weather to be warmer for you. And we can't make 21 molds. So you as a class are going to have to share on a couple checkers you like and make those. The molding gets just prohibitively expensive otherwise. Oh, someone's doing Star Wars. That's a good call. Delete this. Let's see. Pirate. We could look up pirates under here. Let's see here. There we go. Skull and crossbones. Let's see if I can find another one that's better. I mean, pirate's such a favorite. Here's a whole group of them right here. And you could go in, you could import it and make a better one. Here's a pirate with, bones. There's a maker pirate. I like this maker pirate. This is the one I'm going to go with first. All right. So I go to that, visit that image. Then we do File, Save As. I'm going to go over the Mechanical Pirate, SVG. That's what we want to make sure. And honestly, if you really liked it, you'd go and draw it out. All right, we're going to try that. Save. Let's go to TinkerCad. Go over here to Import. Choose File. All right, choose File. We'll try to get this in a second. Importing, there he is. Well, that one's doable. No, except now that's a reverse. See how it's blocked this way? Now what we need to do is think about, so you've got that whole cut there. You could use this as a mold, believe it or not. So you could print out this. It'd be a hard mold and pour in plastic and come out with a plastic one. I'm not sure that makes a lot of sense though. See how that's all cut in? That's kind of funky. I'm thinking I could reverse the colors in Inkscape. All right. All right. Now, it's kind of annoying to go out and get a file as we're seeing here, pick out things that don't really work out. So what we're going to do on our next lab is we'll go through with you very slowly and patiently because it'll take a little bit of the lab, but we're going to show you how you can take a bitmap, convert it to an SVG file, and then use it. All right? Any questions? Yes, Aiden. Any questions, buddy? All right. You had your hand up. I'm just going to mute you. How about you, Caden? Caden, you got a question?
Are we gonna make like a full checker game?
If we get time, we're going to cast and mold it. What we'll do is we'll take several checkers from different people. You guys can decide, hey, what are the popular checkers? And then you make a mold of those. and then we cast them. Casting is we make copies of them. All right? Are you interested in doing that?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right. I got to check, though. You guys got so much going on. I don't know if we'll get to your group doing that or not. All right. Yes, Luke. Hey, Luke. Got a question?
I actually, can you hear me? Yes, I do.
All right, what's
Actually,
your
I was
question?
sitting here and I'm trying to make the checker, and I was just wondering, in order for it to be different colors, like the image and the checker, does it have to be grouped together? Because when I group them, they all become one color, and then you can't quite see it.
Yeah, so you need to go to a lighter color. When you group them, they're
All right.
going to go the same color. That's your tip that you've grouped them. Okay?
Okay.
They have a go up to colors here under inspector and change it to a whole level. Like I'm going to go up here with this pirate thing on my screen, make it green. Now it's green. Right?
Okay.
It's really a rectangle that's got holes in it now. All right. Can we go ahead and mute you? All right. I think it's interesting that we're going back to go forward, that you're going to use a 3D printer. And again, folks, you don't have to do checker. You can do something, but the checker is what we will try to duplicate. But we're going to use a 3D printer and get the most out of the 3D printer. We're going to go forward in time. I mean, we're going to go backward to go forward. We're going to go and use a process, casting and molding, that's thousands of years old. Now, the materials we use are newer materials, but the basic concept is the same. All right, anybody else have a question? All right, now, folks. I'm going to go ahead. It's because I know you have homework for your classes, and it's now 58, almost an hour we've been at this. Try. How many people have like a checker now they feel pretty good about? They might not be completely finished. Raise your hand if you feel good about what you've got done. Okay. Wow. Good job. Now I'm going to put everybody's hands down. How many people like the fact I gave you time right now to work on this? How many people felt that was helpful? Great. Great. All right, good. I want you to have enough time so you feel like you do it. We are going to be learning something called code combat, which is really cool. I can't wait for you to all try that. We're going to start teaching you how to program that way. If you think of Clash of Clans, but we teach you how to program by moving your character around and exploring dungeons, you'll like that. So that's a really cool, and it's a great way to start to learn JavaScript, which is, it is not Java. They're very different. But it allows you to see HTML and help on your web pages. So a lot of exciting things are coming along. I hope you liked what we were doing there. Don't be afraid to go out, use Google search, find SVG files. Again, you don't want to be making molds and selling stuff to people. That you're ripping those people off. But we have found that most places are okay with fans and hobbyists making, copies of what they have. Okay? All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. All right, you've done that hour code. Good. I played Combat. All right, good. Glad you guys have done it. All right, folks. We'll go ahead and call it a night.